let me go on to another um, interesting aspect of all of this. I better couch what I'm about to say in the fact that I'm a parent as well. I'm parent to well, again, no longer doing the sport, but my eldest son was a good young athlete. Um, so parents, and if there are any parents listening, how supportive are they? You know, and what do they do to support their child? I've seen a complete spectrum of parents, from the pushy parents that are mentioned in the next point, who again, think my son or daughter is 11. She or he is absolutely fantastic. She should be running ridiculous times or whatever now, and I want it now. Do they get that kind of balance right? So, are they supporting you as a coach, or are they interfering with things? Again, another anecdote. I had a father a few years ago. His daughter was in the other sprint group at the club. He started talking to me about her changing groups. I get on well with the other coaches, other sprint coaches at the club. As long as it's all done properly, go talk to them. If they're happy, I'm happy to take her on, but it's got to be done that way. First session, it was done. First session that she ever came across. He then started dictating to me what she was going to do that night. And I thought, I can be fairly flexible, and I'm athlete-centered and all the rest of it. I thought, no, I'm not giving way on this one, because if I do that, then it'll never work. So I told him what I was going to do for the session. I told him that I was willing to justify exactly why I wanted to do that, all the rest of it. He backed down at that point, did the session. Next thing I knew, he'd phoned one of the other coaches, and for the next session, she was back into the other group. So that's a parent who was interfering and thought he knew more about it than I did, which didn't please me particularly well, as you can imagine. So what is the support elements there? Some coaches would try and keep parents at arm's length. I would prefer to engage them and make sure that we're on similar wavelengths, which is similar then to the next point about school and exams. As I say, I'm a parent. I think you can balance training and studies. Studies come first. You've got to get your exams. But if you're ahead with your studies, training is a release from that. It's the healthy mind, healthy body bit as well. You can't keep studying ad nauseum, because it just fries your brain. Then I had a lad just a couple of years ago. He was doing his A-levels. He was up till 2 or 3 in the morning revising, and basically I said, I don't think you should. Get to bed at a reasonable time. Learn. You're a bright lad. Learn what you can. Take that relaxation as well. But would he listen again? No, he wouldn't. He does now, because he's told me he thought he was wrong. Are the parents thinking in line with your philosophy with something like that? Can you do, do they think, can you do both? Again, I had one young lady, English schools, medalist, came to GCSE year, and I was told in no uncertain terms by her parents, who I got on with well, that she wasn't allowed to train, she wasn't allowed to compete while exams were on. Well, you can get away with it for a little while, but missing all of that kind of time, all the rest of it, it didn't work. She just faded out of the sport, and she was talented, and I mean really talented. School. How are they doing in school? Do you know how the athlete is doing in school? Is there any rapport between you and the school? Is the school sports minded or not? Do they know that the lad or girl is good at a sport or multi-sports or whatever? How accommodating are they? Now, I put that in there again to, an example of English school, Milton Keynes, English school caliber athletes ready to do the English schools on the weekend, but midweek they are told by the school they have to do a district championship. There's no two ways about it. You have to do it. As a coach, not particularly happy. Think again, the schools in this particular instance aren't the youngster centred, athlete centred. I don't think they did, they're worried about their own kudos and how they're going to do at these district sports. I would argue that they're going to get a lot more kudos if they win the national schools. What can you do? Well, okay, you've got to do it, got no jurisdiction, you have to do it. But I do tell athletes to just take it as easy as they can possibly do, because at that level, they're going to win anyway. There's all of that painting, maybe not a particularly good picture about some of the schools around here in that way. They're good as well. I've no doubt I've got school teachers listening as well, so it's obviously not bad either. Just build a rapport as well. I'm conscious of time. Back one. Peer pressure or support is the other, or another big thing. Are they pressurized with that? How prone to being pressured, and how influenced are other people on them? How influenced are they by others? Some are independently minded, others maybe not so. What other interests do they have? What other influences are coming into that? Or are they, just sitting playing computer games or whatever online? How do the athletes get on with their competitors? Again, I was queried once because international junior young lady that I coached was very, very friendly with one of her major rivals. And somebody said, well, should they be such good friends? Yes, as long as they suspend that for 11 or 12 seconds, whatever it is, out on the track, then they should be friends again. So, don't try and, make them enemies. Yeah, they're rivals on the track, but not elsewhere. And I'll live by that one forever. The other big thing, of course, is, saying, we've all been teenagers. I was a teenager a long, long time ago. The world has changed. So is that a help or a hindrance? Social media. Listened to a presentation fairly recently by one psychologist with One Talent program, and she was saying about creating a brand for themselves and it not being all bad. It can be good, to have a presence, get their name known. But of course, the downside is, inappropriate posts and getting drawn into any kind of conflicts and all of that sort of thing. Browsing the internet for training ideas, again, they all do it. There's lots of stuff out there. As long as they're one doing stuff, getting all the stuff that's good. Another difficulty, though, comes in what happens if the coach online's philosophy and technical input is completely different to the coaches, the coaches at the track. When you start getting into that kind of confusion, that then again makes it difficult. Ranking lists can be a double-edged sword. Is it motivating you to achieve, or is it the pressure to succeed? I'm not number one in the country. I must be awful. I must be dreadful. I'm no good at this. Yeah, but you're fifth or something. Even if you're 25th or 48th, you are where you are. Let's see what we can do. Let's think about processes. Don't get hung up about, I can only run 13.1 for the 100 meters as opposed to I want to run 10.8 or whatever it is. So a perspective from me, taking the responsibilities to the athlete seriously, and obviously when they're young to their parents. As a coach, continuing to learn and understand all you can. You never get there, of course. There's so much and so much changes. Enjoy the process. So that's them and you. Doing the right things at the right times. There are windows of opportunity to do things, to try and get things remotely right. And an early success is nice, but it doesn't predict anything at all. Look at the all-time rankings and see who's missing from there, who became good, and the ones on there who you've never heard of. There is a mixture. There's also some who were fantastic youngsters and made it to the Olympic podium. Somebody like Catherine Merry comes to mind on that. But she, as well as being then a 400-meter runner, she was a good short sprinter. She was a great hurdler, and she could high jump and jump as well. When I mentioned about the process, I tried to look for it and I couldn't find it, so I must try and find out. There was a fantastic presentation given by Tony Hadley on the work that he did with Matthew Hudson-Smith from the age of about 13 to him reaching the Olympic final in Rio in 2016. Superb presentation. If you can find it, and if I find it, I'll try and let people know to look at it, and the way, again, he went through this kind of process to really get there. And, sort of talked about talking to Matt's mum. Yeah, other people are winning all these under 18s and under 20s and whatever, but we will get there, and we will get there stronger. And that's got to be the message, I think, that I give out now. Thank you very much. Any more questions, Shani? No,
yeah, thanks, Mike. I've got one here from Richard Jackson. He says, "Hi, I have recently joined a new club and they time all the sessions. It's a sprints group, regardless of the distance for the group, which range in age from 14 to 20. Do you think this is a good thing, to time everything that they do?"
It's difficult to, give a judgment on others, I suppose, knowing. I wonder what their thinking is as to why they would do that. So that's what kind of caveat in what I'm about to say. Personally, just give my personal honest opinion is why? No, I don't. Why would you need to do that again? Getting tied up with times and how that's going to affect them. So the short answer is no, I wouldn't do it. My email address is now on screen. If you want the actual presentation, email me. Obviously, if you want to discuss anything, then I'm happy to do that. I think one of the beauties of being involved with something like this is obviously putting it together. The research has reminded me of things. It's give me an insight into certain things as well. And then by talking it through afterwards with coaches, that's one of the ways you learn. And talk to others. What's your perspective on this? If you can do that with all the coaches, you may not agree. And I have huge disagreements with some people sometimes on what they're doing and why they're doing it. But at least you're talking. At least then you've got a chance of putting across the different ideas. In the past, you could go to an athletics track and coaches are in their little silos. You've got coach A at the 100-meter start, and you got coach B at the 200-meter start, and never the twain shall meet. They don't talk to each other. Talk, find out. Don't have to reinvent the wheel. Everyone learns, and everyone should keep learning. Otherwise, we're lost.
They've just had a question in from Dorian, and says, Mike, where are the good sources of training sessions for teenagers who as a group are interested in shorter events and endurance running? So got a combination there.
Email me, and let's have a chat. Get some kind of again context around all of that, because again, depending on the age, where are they in that cycle and the development, all of those aspects as to the balance that you might want to do. Obviously, too much endurance will detract from, or could detract from, speed. Obviously, endurance runners need technique. This is one of the things, again, I think that's come on heavily in the last few years, that endurance runners, and this is one of the things that Mo Farah has done, is improve his efficiency of running technique. So if endurance runners take on board that kind of technical prowess and apply it then into endurance aspects of that, then covers the best of all worlds. So you can do a lot of that kind of crossover as well. But, energy system starts getting a bit complicated depending on how old they are. But drop us an email and let's have a chat.